Yo, okay, we got a problem. This is I don't this is the 17th time tried to start this video, and I have no idea how to pronounce this fucking boss's name. I have no idea. If any of you know, please tell me, because I do not, and it's fucking with me. It really is. It's making me not even want to fucking do this. It's so fucking stupid. Yeah, the Ace logo always knows how to calm me down. Anyway, yeah. So this is I don't even want to try actually. But yeah, this is this fight with the three heads. You'll know which one I'm talking about. In terms of the healing mechanics, okay, that's what we're going to talk about. Obviously today, the typical thing I say before the video. This is not a strategy guide. This is not for your entire raid. This is for you as a healer. And I would say this is probably the first real healing test of the instance. It is about 15 times more fun than the previous fight. That fucking turtle can get fucked. I hate that fight. The more I think about it, it just pisses me off from a healing perspective. But this is a really, really good fight. So I've got the live footage. We'll look at that in a bit. But I just want to explain a bit about the fight before we do. Okay, now there's essentially, I would call it two real phases for a healer. Obviously things are different. It's kind of a complicated fight to think about, but from a healing perspective, you really don't need to know a lot. Okay, all you do need to know is that, provided your raid knows what it's doing, at some point you're going to stack, and at some point you're going to spread. Now I have 3 markers down. These represent the heads. I'm not 100%, I'm pretty sure this is where they all spawn, but either way, there'll be a few out at a time. You'll deal with mechanics, and then they'll go away, kind of thing. And you'll stack and have to do crazy healing. Now this gets harder as the fight goes. That's the first thing you need to know. And second of all, everything else gets harder as the fight goes in terms of damage, attack speed, all this stuff. All right, so I'll show you this in the live footage, but just realize you're going to need some type of very serious rotation of cooldowns. And it happens, I mean, I think we had, I don't know how many times, maybe even up to 9. I can't remember. I cut off a big part of the video because it's just too long of a fight to show everything. But it's going to be a stack phase. Everybody's going to pick, you pretty much, they come out of these holes right here, okay, where the marker is directly in front of. And you'll want to stack here in between 2 of them. So you could, the tank's close enough, both tanks are close enough, and you're able to just toss down the hammer, fucking pop everything. Look at this. Check this shit out, man. I'm just fucking popping everything. The Guardian's out. Look at this. Pop it all. Don't do this. Do not do. Pop everything at once. But anyway, we'll have a detailed look at that, at least on the live footage. I would recommend realizing, that especially, so let's talk about it individually. As a paladin healer, this phase is going to be, you're pretty boisterous here for once. Since it happens so often, it is essentially every minute, I think. Almost exactly, because I know my lights hammer is up, so it might actually be a little bit longer than a minute. But either way, it depends on how quick you kill the head. So I know I have lights hammer up for every single one. That is absolutely the choice you want for this one. And because of that, right, Divine Protection is up for every single one. So you could even go for the 40% magic reduction. And then that means Devotion Ore is going to be up for 3 out of the 9. Probably. I think we had 9. Okay, and that means that the cooldowns are all going to be up for 3 out of the 9. This one's only going to be up likely for 1, unless you pop in the first one, which I would not recommend, as it gets harder. So that is your choice. You want to stagger the cooldowns. I think I started with Divine Favor on the second one. Third one was Hammer. Fourth one, my own, like, just figure it out on your own. But the raid itself does need a set priority. Okay, so let's talk about that. Okay, so in terms of the actual healers and what they're doing, first of all, realize that it's not just the healers that should be helping out. So if you're a healer and you feel like you're struggling, make sure you're asking, hey, are your rogues doing smoke bomb? Perhaps monks doing the Zen meditation or whatever shit. Other paladins, tank maybe doing aura mastery, shit like that, whatever it's called, Devo aura. Those are important things to help this fight get done. But in terms of the healing perspective, my opinion about the top cooldowns right now, definitely the double totem thing. It's just crazy. The healing stream totem, or healing tide totem, sorry, with spirit link totem, or whatever the fuck that totem's called. Those two things together, just it negates the entirety of it. You pop one early and then pop the second one after. It's just, yeah, nobody even needs to heal. But That's when you'll want for one of the later ones. I would definitely recommend having that up for the very end, if possible. Do not use it too early. Use it, sparingly. Obviously, do use it a few times, but do not waste it. Make sure it's up when you need it at the end, because it will devastate you. The last two will devastate you. Bubble's probably the second. Bubble and Spirit Shell combo, another great. The Priest is just as strong, and then Druid. Unfortunately, they kind of just have Trank, so they're probably third because of that alone. And then Monks, I say a Monk would even be tied for third because there's essentially the same thing, only it's not. It's just one off, and then they can continue to heal. And then Paladin, unfortunately, is the worst single target, but they have Aura Mastery and 3 individual cooldowns and a 90-point talent that essentially for free, it's great. It's a good combo, but per one, you're going to suffer, because if you pop all your things at once, then you're useless for the next one. You literally are useless. So you have to figure that out on your own. Your raid group will have to figure that out on their own. Amongst themselves, healers will want to talk. But past that, after the stack up, pop everything you have. Mana is definitely going to be a concern. Okay, so let's talk about pot. Unfortunately, you'll see here I only have 2 of these fucking left because I had to use one. Every single attempt on this, I had to use a Master Mana Potion, because there is just, depending on how the strategy is done, there's essentially no safe period where you're comfortable drinking. In fact, it got to the end of the fights, and our other healers were like, I'm going to attempt to drink. They were literally saying that. And if they got lucky, then they were good. And if they got picked by a mechanic or somebody next to them got picked, then they were wasted. It happened to me twice. I was drinking, and a mechanic ran right by me, and I almost died. If I didn't get up from the potion, I would have died. So in terms of healing, we'll look at that on the live, but that's about it. Let's get right into the live stuff, because there's a lot to talk about there. Okay, so let's have a look, shall we? Obviously, the start of the fight has been eliminated from the video. It's pretty slow and pretty repetitive, so I chose not to add it. But here you will see we are in the non-stack phase, essentially everything else. There you saw an individual with the Scorch debuff. Now, it's important to realize that there's going to be 2 things to happen, depending on how you do the fight, basically. There's going to be the Frost and the Fire. If you do choose to go this route, you'll put the fire out with the frost and vice versa, preferably the fire out. But what that means for a healer is somebody's going to have to dispel the fire guy, very similar to, I guess, any mechanic like this before in the past. One person's going to get a debuff that does a lot of damage to them, and they'll need to run it somewhere specific and then get dispelled. So you'll want to designate a specific person to that. We had our Discipline priest do it, and it went quite well after that. Now here we are in the rampage phase, the stack up phase. Look at all the healing range. Look at all the shit on the ground. Look at the fucking damage we've taken. And this isn't even sub 50%. It's like the 3rd one. So as I said, you need a set cooldown rotation. That is for damn sure. I think it's just crazy. It really is. But yeah, so that phase, I mean, it's straightforward, but it's very intense. Now, right there, you see the 2 tanks are on opposite sides of the room, so that makes it pretty tricky, especially because, here I get Cinder, so you'll see me clear that out. I clear that out, then dispel myself. That's, I don't want to brag, but that's essentially exactly what you want to do. And then I get stuck, I get caught in the torrent of ice. Somebody else is dragging it out there. But anyway, the tanks are probably at some point going to be pretty far apart. So you need to be spatially aware as a healer, especially one that's focusing on the tanks. And later on I'll show you why, but one of them gets hit and needs to lay on hands, let's put it that way, and I can't find him. I'm fucking running around in circles. Just can't get close enough to him. Yeah, so a lot of mechanics. Hopefully this shows, hopefully you understand that this is not going to be, there's a very distinct standstill AoE phase, but depending on how you do this, it's not going to be a fight that you can kind of just AFK and spam heals. Now this is when you fucking stack and spam heals. This is absolutely, as I've said, throw the hammer down, pop wings. I got wings up right now. Oh, I popped Guardian as well, because this one's getting towards the end. This is the second to last one we do, I think. But you can see that damage. Look at that. I'm getting an Absorb Shield up with every hole. Look how fast that Absorb Shield is just getting ripped right off. It's constant damage. It does not stop. It's crazy. So it's good to have a balance. You want like a few, maybe 2 Holy Paladins and 1 Disc Priest or something like that. And then the rest raid healers, because, you'll want some prevent. Right there. You saw that? Sorry. I should be paying more attention. You saw that? The warrior tank He's way out of range of me because of this frost right in the middle, and I had to run over and hit him with that land hands. And right there, you just see how this, I mean, this fight is hectic as fuck. That poison shit is exploding. You got all three of these mechanics happening at once. Now, a lot of people are recommending just essentially eliminating one of the mechanics and never killing one of the heads. It doesn't sound like a good idea, but if you could manage to keep the tanks up through all the damage, it's probably better for your raid overall. So, yeah, there's more poison on the melee. If that happens and the melee don't run out, some of them will die. Be prepared to heal them up. But you'll notice the Cinders debuff. Oh, somebody's just died there with the Cinders debuff. That's, you know, partially our fault healer-wise. We have to be ready to heal them. They're going to take a lot of damage. I would recommend using a sack on them, to be honest with you, as a Holy Paladin. You got two of them. The tank's probably going to need it, but, I mean, you should definitely make sure the people with the Cinders debuff are alive. So here, I think this is the second to last time we stack. And, yeah, we're getting heavy. I think we used a totem there. We used a totem combo right there. And it made a difference. You could see that, but tanks are going to get crushed. The longer the fight goes, especially towards the end, things are going to get really fucking hectic, and people are going to get obliterated. So make sure you have enough mana. I think at this point you see, I can't tell right now. I think I'm almost out of mana if I'm not already, but this is pretty late in the fight, so you'll want to conserve. You really will, because early on you're like, oh yeah, this is easy. I'm just going to pad the meters, like throw down. Yeah, right there. You see the mana go blue. Yeah, so I'm out of mana at this point. I'm fucked. And there's still one more stack phase, so I'm conserving. Holy Light is the only thing I'm casting. I'm just sitting here waiting for mana to come back. But Shaman, you'll want to use Lightning Bolt here. You'll want to get as much mana back as possible, because although this phase does throw out some sizable damage, it is absolutely nothing compared to the stack up phase, especially the one that's about to begin. And now you'll see it here. This is the last time we stack up. And just watch the bars. Okay, go ahead and watch them. We have everything popped too. This is no joke. Look at all the things on the ground. We got Spirit Link, Aura Mastery up. You just saw me pop that. I got every cooldown I have is now up. I've popped everything. DG, popped my own stuff. And look at how much damage we are still taking. It may not look like a lot, but no joke. That was every single cooldown we have. Look at the Tree of Life. We had Tranquility. We had Torrent. We had Totem. It's just insanity. Now here, this is a great example. Look at that. I'm trying to take that up, but there is nowhere to go because that boss is going to breathe on me if I do. So I had to cut back and nearly die. And you're going to find that as a healer, because you're trying to stand still and heal and make sure you're in range of everyone, but you're going to get in a position where you just can't move half the time. So from a healing perspective, it's quite a mess. It really is. But it's all about and there's the chest. That's a good kill. It was a fun one, to be honest with you. I really, really, really enjoy this fight. This is probably my favorite fight to heal so far. We'll see about the rest of them, but I hope you guys enjoy this fight. If you have any questions, let me know. But as I said, just set rotation and cooldowns, keep the tanks alive, save your mana, checklist done. You're good. See you on the next one.